Hello YouTube, welcome to Wayne's World of Mandolin. I want to invite everybody to subscribe to the channel. If you didn't do that already, I would appreciate it. I also have a tip jar set up. You'll find a good email on that in the description of each video. Through that same email, you could reach out for some one-on-one Skype lessons if you're interested in something like that. So I want to jump right in on this whole a chord is a world kind of concept, because it's so easy with a lot of the stuff that we talk about here in the eat your vegetables kind of mode to really get caught up in this world of arpeggios or scales or modes, and all of those things are, as we know, incredibly important, and they can do an amazing job to connect us to the fretboard the way that we really need to be. But all those things would blend into your experiences as a player. If it's standards that you've learned, or it could be tunes that a friend of yours wrote, lyrical songs that you've played with somebody in church, all of those experiences still count in, let's just say, whichever chord that you're playing in. They become part of that world. So I've tried to think of a few examples of this for myself as a younger musician before I had ever really studied the fretboard or anything like that. Most, especially professional musicians, I think it's fair to say, learn how to play before they ever study. So you gather all of this information in those, what I like to call, where the rubber meets the road kind of ways. Now I want to demonstrate this in the key of C. Something that a lot of you have probably done is to learn that scale. That would obviously be part of your world for the chord C. So if we're thinking about the C scale, in first position, I want to run through a few things. I have way more in-depth content about this, but like the C note that we have, the lowest one here, on the 5th fret of the G string, there's the C major scale. I'm not going to break this down because it isn't about this key signature. This is about the, kind of beginning to put all of your information together for each different chord. So under this C note, I would still have an open G, an A note at the 2nd fret, and then a B note at the 4th fret, making the C major scale in first position. If we wanted to think of it like that, that's a healthy thought. If my index finger were planted here on that C note, I could play it in a closed position. So as far as single notes of the scale, those two thoughts kind of give us quite a bit of the territory of or I like to think of neighborhoods of the fretboard. Just about anywhere that your hand's down on the fretboard, you could play the C major scale. So that's going to be part of your world of C. Now let's just say, early on for me, I remember a regional band that I played in wanted to do the tune Toy Heart. So I learned an intro that worked for that, probably listening to the Bluegrass Album Band version of it a good bit, as well as Bill Monroe's. My parents had both of those recordings at the house. But anyway, this would have been before I ever knew what the C scale was, just by listening to the recording. Bill Monroe styled or traditional styled bluegrass mandolin. So there we have two things that are part of my world of C. Now kind of back to a fretboard fundamental. These double stops. That scale, a lot of people probably discover those 8 shapes, and then at some point start it over at this high C, and let's play it. There's the 12th fret. Maybe take this F all the way to a high G. Again, I'm not going to break that down. I have a lot of content around here on the channel for double stops. That's a scale in 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But those shapes, you're going to recognize those. You may have a body of licks that involve those shapes. That's all part of your world of C. The other inversion of the double stops, if we thought about playing that, a scale in 3. 1, 2, 3. We could keep going. Take that all the way over the fretboard too. Okay, so there's some more eat your vegetable stuff that's part of this world. Now, another example for me, again, my kind of world of this chord would also include early on. Before studying any of this, I learned an intro, or tried to learn to play an intro that Doyle Lawson did to a tune. It's a gospel song called Lord, I Want to Go to Heaven. It has some of those same shapes. I think the banjo actually played the back half of that intro, but learning that, by the way, there's a lot of great tremolo that we can learn, all of us, listening to Doyle Lawson. But again, I was just playing that by ear, and along the way gathered a good bit of information as far as double stops that work in the key of C. So that becomes, again, part of your world of that chord. This is all a collection of things. Another tune that I don't ever remember not hearing, East Tennessee Blues. You guys are familiar with that tune. That early on for me was a part of my world of this chord. And so I would use that information and put all of those things together and try to equip myself to play a song in the key of C that I'd never heard before, to be able to respond to it in a musical kind of way. And then later on, you know, going back and filling in with some of the more fretboard studies, you could arpeggiate. Learn to arpeggiate that whole chord scale. I have content up about that. And then always remember that you're never abandoning any of the tunes that you've learned or any of the things about your playing that you already like. You're just adding that new information to it. So hopefully this video can help you. I mean, if you even wanted to write down ideas that you have for key signatures that you play in a lot, if you have a friend that sings in B flat all the time, get those scales, those double stops, learn some tunes and some really strong melodies in that chord, and let all of that begin to be your world of that key signature. So I hope this helps. It's kind of a pulling everything together kind of video. Another one I did similar to this, I think I called it improvisational roadmaps, where you put different ideas together, maybe a little bit more specific of a video, where this is a, you know, just in general, begin to think like this in terms of chords, and it's really going to help you to apply the things that you've learned. Good luck.